All right, you guys, we're on another episode of Pink Confinement, and today we're here with Addie. Addie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. All right, introduce yourself and give a little background about how you grew up.
Okay, so like I said, I'm Addie. I'm 32. I grew up here in Atlanta. I spent my whole life in North, like DeKalb County. That's where I grew up, and had my mom and my dad. I had a really good childhood. Like I really couldn't have asked for a better childhood. I like my parents were both successful, and we got to take vacations and do everything, and I was totally set up for success, but I chose my own path, honestly.
Was you the only sibling?
I'm the only child.
Oh. So what did your mother and father do as a living?
My mom was a nurse practitioner and then a DNP, doctorate of nursing.
Okay.
And for 12 years, she was director of what was Crawford Long, but now Emory Midtown ER. And then my dad was a union iron worker.
Okay then. So would you say growing up in that environment, you felt love?
Yes.
And okay. So, I mean, I know a lot of people that grow up by themselves, they kind of be like spoiled. So was you spoiled?
Yes.
Did you feel like everything was owed to you?
No, I didn't. I never had like a sense of entitlement to things, but I definitely never really wanted for anything. My mom came from a family of 5 siblings, 5 sisters, so all girls. And my dad came from a family of 5, so 4 siblings. So they tried to instill like the sharing. Like I wasn't the only child that like, you can't touch my things, it's all mine.
Okay.
I was never that way because I was always, my parents always raised me to be different than that because they always had to share.
Okay.
But as far as wanting my way, I had a lot of issues there.
Okay. So when did your life take a turn since you were set up for success?
High school.
What happened in high school?
That's when I started doing drugs.
How did you get into drugs?
So like my parents, they drank. Like so like my whole family.
Okay.
They're drinkers. So like partying was just kind of like a normal thing. But I know it's like that in a lot of families. But for me, I also was extremely self-conscious because of my weight. Always had been growing up.
Was you getting picked on about your weight?
Yeah, when I was in like middle school, it was bad. High school, it wasn't.
Okay.
That really kind of stopped. But middle school, I was bad. So I was super self-conscious, and I was never like, I was really shy, and I never felt included or accepted. So when I just had a curiosity, like when I got into high school and I saw weed for the first time and I tried it, like all of a sudden this group of people that are potheads, that's my people now.
Okay.
So I had that acceptance in the group of people that were all getting high. And of course I was naturally attracted to, I think a lot of people, like when they start smoking weed, they love it. You know what I mean? They love getting high, just get high, eat and get lazy. And that became my thing. And from there, it just kind of gradually progressed. It was like, well, all of my friends, some of them are snorting cocaine. Well, I want to try that. And we're all taking X pills. I wonder what that's like. Had
the same group of friends that started with the weed?
Yeah, but it was like, there would be like, there's a whole group of people that all are potheads. But then some of them over here do this and some of them do that. So it was like, depending on who I was hanging out with at the time, they might be doing something different. So then I want to try it. I want to see what it's like because all of you guys like it. So there's something that's attracting you to that. So what, and it just went from there.
What was your favorite drug of choice?
In high school or just overall?
In high school, besides the weed.
Well, I went through phases. When I found cocaine, like, whoa, I was a bad cokehead for a while. But then that's really expensive. And then when I ran into X pills, that was my thing.
Okay, so I know a few people that do cocaine, and like it seems like every 15, 20 minutes they gotta snort. Why? Can you tell me why? That's how long the high lasts?
The drug. Well, the thing is it's not the high. When you first do it, you get a rush. So that's the thing. When that rush is gone, you want another rush.
Okay.
So you'll stay high for a long time, but cocaine, yeah, you stay high for a long time, but crack, you don't stay high long at all. But
you tried crack before?
Listen, yes.
Wait, hold on. Okay.
Later on, it was later, but yes, and it was not my thing. I did not like crack. I don't like the way it tastes. I don't like the way it smells, and I didn't like that high.
Okay, so how did you do the crack?
Well, smoked it in a blunt.
Oh, with the weed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so kind of like what Trick Daddy do.
Yeah, smoke dirties.
Dirties, okay.
So, but we were at this, me and my boyfriend at the time were at this hotel. We were staying at this hotel, and this guy, we didn't have any weed, we wanted to smoke, and this guy that was in the hotel that sold crack, he was like, I have some weed, but, you know, it's in the dirty or whatever, and we were just like, fuck it, we want to get high, so we smoked with him, and it was like, I didn't really like that. I was like, I didn't really like that. Actually, right before I got clean this time, I smoked a dirty with somebody, and again, just was not my thing.
Yeah,
I don't know why I revisited this, because I didn't like it.
Okay. So, what were the charges that got you confined?
Which time?
Okay, I know that at 18, you caught your first felony, and 19, your first robbery case. Can you tell us about how you caught your first robbery case?
Woo. Okay, so all the people that were in prison with me, man, it was like a joke, man. So I was with my boyfriend and this guy that I knew my whole life, and then we had this other guy with us, that I don't even really know where he came from or why he was with us, but he was like, we were 18 and 19, and like he was like 23, so I don't even know why he was with us. And we ran out of money. And we had went and picked up this other guy because he was like a friend of a friend of a friend or something, because he had all these pills he wanted to sell. So it was like, okay, cool, I can help you sell these pills. So we go get him, and he had like Xanax and Lortabs. Well, the Xanax that he had, he then decided he wasn't going to sell them. But the Lortabs that he had were the lowest milligram Lortabs, and I didn't have anybody that wanted to buy them. Like, they were like, if I'm going to spend my money on Lortab instead of Percocet, like, I want a 10. I don't want a 5.
Okay.
So, and all he had was a whole bunch of 5s, and the amount of money that he wanted for those 5s, they were not going to buy. So, I mean, I'm like, I can't get rid of these. You live all the way in Pendergrass. Like, you have to go.
Yes.
How are we going to get you away from us? Because at this point, I wanted him away from us. Like, we did all this to help you sell these pills and try to make some money. And now we have no money.
Yeah.
You've been here for days, and I have spent all my money. And I don't know how I'm going to get you back. And you're not willing to even come up off some of these Xanax so that we can at least get you home.
Yes.
Ended up, after I got arrested, went to jail, my mom went and got my stuff out of my car. Well, she went and got my car back, and I had money in my purse that I had hidden from myself. Didn't have to do any of this. But, so, I'm like, okay, well, we obviously have to go hit a lick. Like, that's our only option.
Okay.
So, we go, and then we had like a whole bunch of stolen stuff in this hotel room. It was ridiculous. But the guy that we had that bought all of our stolen stuff was out of town. Like, it was just a whole lot of circumstantial things going on too.
Okay.
That led to us doing it. So we go to this apartments because, I don't know, my homeboy was like, yeah, I know where we can go hit this lick, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, okay, cool. Okay, so we got to the back of the apartment complex, and like when we were driving back there, we saw this white car, and something told me, like, I had this bad feeling about this white car. And I let them out of the car, and they were supposed to be going to some apartment. But a few minutes later, I look in my rearview mirror and there is chaos in this apartment complex. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they had jumped on these two guys in this apartment complex. And they had jumped on these two guys in this apartment complex. And they, no, sir. They, I don't know. They had a knife. And all they got out of it, nobody jumped in the running vehicle that we could have just taken. And these people were broke. So they got like a 12-pack of Modelo, a $1 bill, and that's it.
And that's what you went to prison for?
Yes. 5 years.
5 years for Modelo and a $1 bill. I mean, it's not funny.
No, it is. Like, everybody, like, when people would tell, like, this one girl in prison, she used to get mad. Like, she got mad at me one time. She was like, "That's why you in here for a fucking $1." I'm like, well, you know, like, it is what it is. Now, if you saw, like, my discovery, when the list of stuff that they said that we took from them, it was much more impressive. It wasn't impressive, but it was more than $1 and a 12-pack of beer. It was like a couple $100 and stuff like that, but we didn't. Like, okay. I'm just being real about what we actually got. And so, we ended up getting 5 years. They figured out who we were because they followed us. They jumped in this running vehicle that none of my co-defendants got in and followed us and got my tag.
Oh, wow.
And the police, maybe half an hour later, found us.
So you didn't look in the rearview mirror when y'all was leaving?
Yeah, they hit the back of my car with a Coke can. And my homeboy was like, go, that's them. He's like, he's like, I was like, what was that? He said, that was a Coke can. They hit me in the head with one, fool. I'm like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how that went.
Okay. So it says you was out for 2 years and you ended up on meth. How did you end up doing meth?
Okay, so, I got out. I was actually pretty good, not smoking weed or anything. I was working and stuff. But I was with this guy and he was a meth addict, but he was in drug court. So he was sober when I got with him. Well, he ended up getting a pass from drug court and didn't have to go to work or didn't have to go drug test for a couple of days.
Okay.
I think they actually gave him a week off. Well, his friend came over and we got real drunk because they, in drug court, they can't even drink. And we got real drunk that night. Well, then when his friend left, he starts putting on his clothes and I'm like, where are you going? And he said, I'm going to JP's house, which was this like known drug guy in the area. And this was in Conyers. And I'm like, I think that's a bad idea. You know what I mean? And he's like, well, I'm going. So are you going or not? And I was like, well, I'm not going to let you go by yourself, which mind you, I'm like, I can barely see. I don't even know how I remember that night.
Okay.
Like, that's how drunk we were. And so we go to his house and he shoots up meth and me being me, first off, I was really kind of trying him to see if he would really do this. But then also like having known a lot of people that did meth, like I was curious of what it felt like, but like I was kind of scared of meth at the time still. Cause I was like, man, that's like hardcore,
Yeah.
So, they didn't have like a pipe or anything. Nobody in that house smoked. They only shot it. And I was like, well, if you do it, you're going to have to shoot me up too. Ooh. And he did. And I am deathly afraid of needles. Like I am extremely afraid of needles. Even to this day, when I get blood drawn or get an IV, like I am about to pass out the whole time. But
was the high quick in the stream?
Yes. I wasn't drunk anymore.
Wow. So how long was you high for after it went into your vein?
Or how long did it take to get high? Or
how long did it take and how long was you high?
Well, when you shoot up,
down?
It's immediate.
Okay.
As soon as you do it, you're high. And it's very fast, very strong. Like it happens. Like you're really high all of a sudden. But, and then, well, I don't know. We kept doing it over a couple of days. Cause once I was high, I was like, I like this. You know what I mean?
Okay. So you like that feeling.
But I really struggled with it after that first time. But the only reason I even let him come at me with a needle is because I was that drunk. Like I had no business. And that should have been like red flag number one. Like anybody, well, actually the biggest red flag number 1,025,025. Like it's somebody that will shoot you up when you've never done that. Like And the first time I ever did meth, I shot it.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it was only natural that if I was going to keep doing it, that's how I was going to keep doing it.
Okay. So, you went back on a 3-year sentence. Why?
Okay, so now at this point, I'm an IV meth user, you know? So
that's how you doing it now. You strictly IV.
Yep. And I ended up getting back with my ex, the guy from the robbery.
The $1 bill Modelo.
Got back with him, and we went up to, this story is wild too. So we went up to Hiawassee, Georgia, and which is where I caught my very first felonies. Mm-hmm. And so I, you know, I'm known up there or whatever, and I was selling meth up there, and I don't know. I really, to this day, I don't really understand what happened that night. Like, all I know is we were leaving, the cops pulled up and said, we had reports of gunshots up on this road. And there had been no gunshots. Mm-hmm. So they were calling for us because I thought I had warrants.
Okay.
So, because I had never reported to probation ever since I got off parole, so I figured I had warrants.
Yes.
Didn't have warrants. Anyway, so I thought I had warrants, and I didn't, but my license was suspended. But my ex was driving the car, and he had no license. So they were taking him to jail for driving on suspended license. And I'm like, I have the money to bond you out in my pocket. Mm-hmm. Like, it's fine. So, but they tell me they ran my license. They ran my name and my license. No warrants, but my license was suspended because I didn't pay a ticket. And I didn't pay the ticket because when I went to court, I was too high to go in the courtroom. So I wouldn't go in there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Nobody in the car. There was another girl, but she didn't have a license either. So nobody could drive my car away. So we had to, what happened? We had to, the police said, hey, just get somebody to move your car and I won't tow it. And I was like, okay, cool. So I was calling somebody. They went up to the next house with my boyfriend at the time, my ex now, in the back seat. And I'm like trying to call somebody to come get my car. Mm-hmm. Next thing I know, he comes back through the front door of this house with the handcuffs on.
No.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. So he's like, I'm not going to jail. And I'm like, yeah, you fucking are. Like, he's like, what should I do? Go but get back in the fucking cop car. That's what you should do. Because they weren't going to search my car or anything. They just were taking him to jail for driving with no license. And if I could get it moved, they were just going to tow it.
Yeah.
Well, when he took off like that, then now they can search my car.
Yeah.
And they found an 8-ball of meth and a pipe. So I went, and I had 2 years, 10 months probation left in that county. And so they just came to me and were like, listen, we'll just give you a straight 3 because we're going to pull the 2 years and 10 months of probation. Yeah. Like, that's dead. You're going for 2 years and 10 months, so you can go ahead and take this 3-year plea. Okay. Like, and I was like, let's run it.
Okay. So every time you got locked up, did you use a public defender or you had a lawyer?
The very first time on my very first felonies, I had a lawyer.
Okay.
After that, my parents were like, not happening.
Oh, so they wasn't going to help you out?
No.
Okay.
No.
So how was the paid lawyer versus your public defenders?
So my paid lawyer, okay, so the situation with my first felonies, I had some drug sales felonies up in Towns County where I caught the second prison sentence. And then on my robbery, I mean, I came out, it was an armed robbery charge, and the judge was like, you guys are young, and this seems like you guys were just kind of doing something stupid. Like, it's what you did is really serious. Mm-hmm. So the judge was basically like, you know, because our the DA was coming at us with 15 do 10. And so obviously, I mean, it was armed robbery, armed robbery and attempted armed robbery. And, because we got something off one of the guys and nothing off the other. And, so in reality, I feel like it should have just been 2 attempted robberies. But So the judge, then the DA went down to 15 to 10 robbery. But of course, all 4 of us are sitting there and we're all like, no.
No.
And that's what, like, my one homeboy that did have a paid lawyer, he's like, well, 2 of them had paid lawyers and 2 of us didn't. And my one homeboy that had paid lawyer was like, no, my lawyer said none of us need to take this. Like, do not take this. So we were like, no. Mm-hmm. And then the one guy, Token, like the 23-year-old that we didn't even know, he had a paid lawyer, but he had turned state on all of us. So he walked out with a 7-3 first offenders. You know what I'm saying? So He was kind of a non-factor. So us 3, though, we, Magic was like, no, the judge or my lawyer said don't take that. Mm-hmm. So we didn't, and we this was our last court date before pretrial. So because of that, they went and they went into judge's chambers when we said no, and they came back out and they were like, well, the judge, which was Judge Seeliger, he just retired, but he was like the best judge in DeKalb County, mm-hmm. said he's offering you 3, 15 or 10 to 5 robbery. And we were like, take it. That's half of the time to serve.
Was all of y'all white?
No, I was the only white one.
Oh, okay. Because I'm going to say, now if I wouldn't did it.
My boyfriend was mixed, white and black. But he appeared like his mom's side, which was, his mom was black, was more prominent. Okay. Unlike, my son, who I'm more prominent. But, and then my Magic he's Mexican. Mm-hmm. And then Token was black.
Oh, okay.
So we had like a mix of people.
Okay. I was just wondering, because I'm going to say shit with me. I know he would have slammed me out, but he had a mix.
And I feel like, honestly, our ages had a lot to do with it and how goofy the whole thing was. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, he was probably like, okay, so what was this? Like, yes. What kind of a case is this? Like, they obviously, like, and he said when he was sentencing us, he was like, I'm giving you enough rope to hang yourself with. Yeah. But, like, you're really young, and I don't want to end your lives now. Okay. Especially not over this. Like, so, I mean, I ended up really kind of doing, I turned it into a 10-year sentence anyway, like, but then on my second sentence, I didn't even see a lawyer. Like, that was all done, like, I'm trying to remember if a lawyer was the one that came and told me, but I know probation came and saw me and was like, we're pulling 2 years and 10 months, and I think they're going to bring you a 3-year offer. So, I mean, it's up to you, but I'm telling you now, I'm recommending pulling all 2 years, 10 months. Okay. So, like, I don't even remember if I even talked to a public defender for my second one. I pled out 3 weeks after I got arrested, so I wasn't indicted or any of that. Like, I was in prison 6 weeks after getting arrested.
Can you tell us, like, what was a typical day for you in prison? Did you make stole? Was you in any fights? Did you fuck with any females?
Yes.
You did?
Listen.
Please tell us. For the people that watch it, we want to know how you...
Well, listen. So first off, my first sentence, I was down a long time. I was down almost 5 years. And I did a majority of that time at Pulaski. Funny, I was there when they opened Whitworth, and like I took a broken ID when they went to go ship me to Whitworth and sawed into my arm until it bled.
Whoa.
And still have that weird looking spot right there.
Yes, I see.
Not this cut, but like that weird looking spot. Yes. That's that. And went to the safe cell for a week to not go to Whitworth, and I successfully did not get shipped. People tried similar things, like tying sheets around their necks and stuff, and it didn't work. They still got shipped. But I don't think anybody went as extreme as me that time. Yeah. Not over being shipped. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the people that were known cutters and stuff, like, I don't even think they tried to ship them. Like, we're not even going to deal with that. Mm-hmm. But as far as females, I had a lot of drama going on my first sentence. I was young. I was young, and I had a lot of drama. Anybody that watches this that knows me, I know the first thing that they're gonna say, smooth, because yeah, there was that whole thing. But we were in the county together.
Okay.
So like he got arrested a month after me.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did the whole time in the county together. And then when I got shipped back to Pulaski after I went to West Central, he was there. So it was like a back and forth. But really, that's just really more of like a really good friend of mine.
Okay.
But I was crazy about that fool for a long time. Everybody knows it. That's not a secret. I was talking to this girl, Ashley Larkins.
So do you really like females, or you just messing with females because you had to do time?
I really like females, but out here,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know though, because I'll tell you what, when I first came home, it was like I hadn't been around men, and because like it's never like I wasn't one of those people in prison that was like, oh, I don't even want to be with men no more. You know how some of them
yeah.
I was never like that. Like
Okay.
once I got back around men, I was like, I've been around enough women. I've been messing with enough women.
So you want
like,
the sausage?
I want it, yes. But then now after everything I've been through here, like with my son's dad and stuff, I'm like, I don't just want to be with nobody. Like, I just want to be with me.
Okay.
I don't even know. I've had enough drama with females. I've had enough drama with guys. Like, I don't think I want none of it. But not right now. But, no, I mean, I definitely did mess around with women on the street. But I like studs, but I don't. My thing is the fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because if you are supposed to be the man in the relationship, I'm not, just because me and you both are females, like, I'm not with the whole
domestic thing. Yeah, exactly. I know what you're talking about.
And there's so much more. And I'm not going to say that's the case. I don't want to generalize, but I just know from my experience that has been the case. And I don't want to do that. And then after everything I went through with his dad, like, I'm definitely not doing the domestic thing. Like, his dad really put me through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just am not even willing to chance. And then like, but then I end up being, if I'm with a femme, like, I am not a nice person. Like, I turn into the abuser kind of thing. So
why?
Like,
why you do the femmes like that? Come on, man. Why?
I don't know why I do that. Like, I just...
Because, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people, you can have your preference, but I see a lot of females, they do like the studs because, you know, they more got the masculine energy, but at the end of the day, they still a female.
Well, and that's why, like, I don't... Femme stuff, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I don't prefer one over the other.
But why you be mean to the femmes then?
I don't know. Because honestly, I'm more attracted to them physically.
Okay.
Because like with studs, I feel like, now I'm attracted to studs. Do not get me wrong. Mm-hmm. There is something super sexy about a fine ass stud that like is just in its own class. They're in their own class. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so the studs you mess with, have you played in their pussy? Have you ate their pussy? Mm-hmm. Have you strapped them down?
No, I've never strapped them down.
Would you want to strap them down?
I've never strapped anybody down.
Oh, you haven't? Would you like to do it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not something I really want to do.
Okay, but if they was to ask you, would you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I prefer to just use what I have naturally.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's my preference. But I mean, I'm not against it at all. Like, I would do it.
Okay. So, did you do any drugs, smoke cigarettes while you was in there?
Not really. My first sentence, like, I would buy packs of cigarettes sometimes, especially at Pulaski, because you know I'm sure you know that lighter out on the pavilion still worked. Yeah. So you didn't even have to have a lighter. You know what I'm saying? And then they did wellness walk, so we could just go out there and smoke on wellness walk, because as long as the perimeter car wasn't coming by, but they done did away with all that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you know, like I did on my first sentence some, but not. But for the most part, it was like all that stuff is so expensive. Yes. And like I can't smoke the way that I want to smoke, so I'd just rather not. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And then as far as the drugs, like I think I saw weed on the compound at Pulaski maybe 2 times in all the time I was there. And when I smoked, I had the whole, listen, I was tripping about the smell, and I was in my friend's room because she was like upstairs in 9 where we had the windows and stuff. And she came back from dinner because she went to dinner. She came back from dinner and I had baby powder all over her room, but I was high as hell, so I didn't realize like literally baby powder's every fucking where. She was like, "Bitch, I should kill you."
Yeah.
But I mean, I really didn't. And then all the little like mental health meds and stuff like all that doesn't make you go to sleep, and then you just feel like shit for like 3 days after that. So I just did my time.
Was there any programs that help you prepare to come out here?
Hell no.
Okay.
Hell no. I did RSAT on my first sentence, which is how I came home 4 months early. And that shit didn't prepare me for nothing.
Okay.
None of it. I'll say the best thing that did prepare me a little bit better was going to the TC. Like, I really feel like they need to expand that. Mm-hmm. Like, shut down these prisons, you know what I'm saying? And open up more TCs. Because that's what helps people. I came home with a job, with money in hand. I was able to buy my first car on my own.
Okay.
Like, and I kept my job. Like, I stayed there for a while until I got back on drugs, obviously. And then I kept the job for a while after I got off on drugs, but that just slowly declined until it was no more. But yeah, the only thing would be the TC. But of course, I also didn't. No matter what, when you're locked up, you're not going to be prepared for coming in contact with people's places and things.
Yes.
Like from before. There is nothing that's going to prepare you for that.
Okay. So if you had the chance to do it, what would you do to prepare females that's going to come out of prison? If it was up to you, what would you do?
Oh, that's a hard one. I mean, honestly, I wish there was more programs too, like the Higher Hope program that I'm going to do. If there was more programs like that where like they give specialized like training, job training to put you in more of like a corporate job instead of just like Metro is going to help you. Like you can come home with a job, but what, you're going to come home with a McDonald's job?
Yeah.
Like, is that really something you're going to keep long term? No, that's not a career.
Yes.
People need career training. You know, and I love that now all of them have college classes now. Like, actually, you can get your bachelor's and stuff in prison. But, like, I mean, you have to be willing to take on certain things. Here we go again. That people don't want to take on, loans and stuff like that. And, like, they need like career training.
Okay, career training.
Not just job training.
Yeah.
Like the Higher Hope program trains you in payroll systems and applicant tracking systems so you can work in HR, and that's a career.
Yes.
And that's something where you can make good money that you can survive in and retire from and provide for your family. Like, that's what people need.
Okay. So, what's the message you want to leave with the people today? You got any social media? How can they hit up Addie? They want to talk to Addie. What's going on with Addie today?
Well, I mean, my IG is Addie, ADDIE.cakes, CAKEZ. And, I mean, my Facebook, just, you can look up Addie and in Atlanta, and I'm going to be probably the first one that's going to pop up, more than likely. Addie Swigert, if you can spell that, SWEIGART.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it, really.
Okay.
You know?
And there you have it. Another episode on Confinement.